There are countless villages in Iran that you might not have heard of. One such village is Sar Agha Seyed, located in the isolated mountains in Chaharmahal Bakhtiari province. This charming village, with its deep history and captivating beauty, offers a peaceful escape from the busy pace of modern life. But how does one live in such isolation? And what does it mean to be part of a community that has survived here for centuries, despite the odds? Join us as we unravel the astonishing details of life in the isolated mountain of Sar Agha Seyed in faraway Iran. Origin and life in Sar Agha Seyed. Sar Agha Seyed has a long history that goes back hundreds of years. Originally, it was home to nomadic tribes who lived in the nearby mountains. These tribes eventually stopped moving around and began to build a stable community. As they settled in one place, they created a special village with rich traditions and a deep cultural heritage that continues to shape the community today. There is evidence suggesting that this Iranian village dates back to the Paleolithic era. Experts believe that this village, like many others carved into mountains, was among the earliest human settlements, with origins stretching back thousands of years. Situated in Kuhrang County, deep within the Zagros mountain range, Sar Agha Seyed is 135 kilometers from Shahrikhord and 45 kilometers from Chalgird, with Isfahan located 230 kilometers away. When visitors arrive, they are welcomed by the warm, friendly hospitality typical of rural Iran. The villagers, who lead simple yet satisfying lives, showcase the strong and enduring human spirit. Even though their lives lack many modern comforts, they are rich in other valuable ways. Here, the community thrives on close relationships where everyone knows each other, and there is a strong sense of shared responsibility. Life follows a natural rhythm, guided by the sun and the seasons rather than by clocks. The architecture in Sar Agha Seyed is not only visually stunning, but also cleverly adapted to its environment. The houses, made from local materials, seem to merge seamlessly with the surrounding mountains, as if they have always been there. Their thick stone and mud walls offer excellent insulation, keeping homes cool in the summer and warm in the winter. The flat roofs serve a practical purpose too, providing extra living space and collecting rainwater, a crucial resource in this dry area. Each home, with its simple decorations and practical design, tells a story of a life that harmonizes with nature. Although the village community is small, it represents a slice of rural Iranian society. Families have lived here for generations, their stories deeply connected to the village's history. Sar Agha Seyed is a traditional village where respect for elders is a big part of daily life, and decisions are made together as a community. The people here share both their happiness and their struggles, as well as the daily tasks that keep their village running smoothly. Whether it's farming on terraced fields or cooking meals together, every task is an opportunity to connect with their land. Sar Agha Seyed is not just a beautiful place. It's like a living museum of culture and tradition. Its remote location, which might have slowed its growth, has helped keep its old ways alive, which is rare in today's fast-changing world. Here, traditions aren't just talked about. They are practiced every day. From the food they eat to the clothes they wear, everything reflects their long-standing heritage. The village doesn't just live in the present. It carries the spirit of the past, giving visitors a glimpse into a way of life that has remained mostly unchanged for centuries. Visiting Sar Agha Seyed feels like stepping back in time, offering a break from the busy modern world and immersing visitors in a place where nature and tradition set the rhythm of life. It's a transformative experience, showing a way of life that values community, sustainability, and harmony. They lead a straightforward life filled with joy and the lasting beauty of human strength and creativity. The history of Sar Agha Seyed is as rich and intricate as its unique buildings. Locals say the name Sar Agha Seyed comes from a worship place dedicated to Sayyid Isa, a descendant of the 7th Imam in Shia Islam. They believe Sayyid Isa was buried under the village about 600 years ago. This hidden place not only gives the village special spiritual meaning but also adds to its cultural value. However, the exact date when the village was founded is not known. Located at 8,200 feet above sea level, the village experiences extreme weather. Summers are very hot, and winters are very cold, with heavy snowfall that can reach up to 17 feet. This makes the village hard to reach during the winter months. In Sar Agha Seyed, the houses are usually 2 stories tall. The ground floor is often used to house livestock during the cold winter months, while the upper floor is where people live. This design helps keep the living area warm, as the animal's body heat rises to the top floor. This traditional building method is common in rural places, especially where it's very cold. Most of these houses have just one room and no windows. This design helps keep the heat in and protects against the severe mountain weather. Inside, the homes are simply furnished but attractively decorated. The floors are covered with colorful hand-woven carpets and rugs that add both warmth and beauty. People usually sit on cushions and low sofas around the edges of the room. The walls often feature local crafts, textiles, and sometimes pictures or paintings that showcase the region's artistic heritage. There are no private bathrooms in these homes. Instead, there is a shared toilet at the mosque for the whole community. Those who live too far from the mosque might have to use the outdoors. The village has electricity, but it often goes out during snowy weather, leaving residents with very few modern conveniences. The flat roofs of the village do more than just serve as courtyards. They are crucial for many activities, such as drying crops and hosting social gatherings. These roofs are an essential part of daily life in the village. The buildings are designed and positioned to make the most of natural light and ventilation, showing a keen awareness of eco-friendly living practices. The village's narrow, winding streets and alleys follow the natural shape of the land, creating a maze-like appearance. Although this layout might seem random, it is a thoughtful adaptation to the steep landscape and harsh weather conditions. The exact number of people living in the village isn't known, but it is estimated to be around 4,000. Most of the residents are Bakhtiari nomads, who arrive in May and leave before the severe winter. The Bakhtiari people have a strong cultural identity and a semi-nomadic lifestyle that continues to shape their way of life. The primary language spoken here is Luri, a branch of Iranian languages. Luri is rich in oral traditions and folklore, preserving stories, songs, and proverbs passed down through generations. While Persian is also understood and used, Luri remains central to everyday communication and cultural identity in Sar Agha Seyed. Traditional clothing in the village is often bright and handmade, combining practicality with artistic flair. Daily life here follows the natural rhythms of the environment rather than the clock, with people starting their day at sunrise. The villagers primarily earn their living through farming and raising sheep and cattle. In this village, salt mining from local ponds is a crucial part of life. The process starts with digging up salt from nearby mines. Each family is assigned a specific section of the mine, which allows them to work in their way while still contributing to the collective effort. After extraction, the salt is spread out under the sun to dry. This traditional method lets the sun's warmth evaporate the moisture, making the salt ready for use. Once dried, the salt is packed into sacks. These sacks are either kept for the village's own needs or sold to earn money. The work involved in this salt mining is quite demanding. Besides salt, the village also grows wheat and potatoes, raises livestock, and produces dairy products. Women in the community have their important tasks too. They spend a lot of time gathering wood for cooking and heating their homes. Additionally, they are talented in weaving beautiful rugs and tapestries and making various crafts. These skills not only help their households, but also keep alive the rich artistic traditions of their village. In the village of Sar Agha Seyed, the women still cook over a wood fire and bake bread in traditional home ovens. The food here is deeply connected to the natural resources around them. The village is encircled by oak and plantain trees. Among these, the oak tree is especially important for local cuisine. Its fruit is a special ingredient, used notably in making nan golak, a distinctive bread. This bread is crafted by turning the oak fruit into dough, which is then baked into a unique and flavorful loaf. Besides oak trees, Sar Agha Seyed also has walnut, willow, and milo shrubs, which produce small red fruits. The walnut trees are cherished in the village, with some believed to be over 300 years old. These ancient trees not only enhance the village's charm, but also provide ingredients for various local dishes. Wild edibles like sumac, shallots, mushrooms, leeks, and mountain celery grow on the nearby mountainsides. One particularly important dish is ash kardan, a hearty soup made with a special mountain plant found in the Zagros Mountains. This plant gives the soup a distinctive flavor, reflecting the region's rich natural resources. The soup is made with buttermilk, rice, and a blend of spices, resulting in a comforting and flavorful dish that's especially enjoyed during the colder months. Children in Sar Agha Seyed have a very different childhood compared to those living in cities. They are deeply involved in the daily life of the village, and the whole community helps raise them. In this close-knit village where everyone knows each other, it's not just the parents who care for the children, the entire village does. This shared responsibility creates a strong feeling of safety and belonging for the kids. Some children go to a small local school that offers classes up to the 5th grade. If they want to continue their education, they have to travel to nearby cities. In the home of the family with the longest history in the village, there's a big room that serves an important purpose. It's the only supermarket in the village. This store is stocked with essential items and is crucial for the villagers' needs. During the harsh winter months, when heavy snow blocks the roads and isolates the village, the supermarket becomes even more vital. The village is cut off from the outside world for up to 6 months, with no electricity, cell service, or outside contact. During this period, the supermarket becomes the most important place in the village, serving as a lifeline for the residents in their remote setting. When you enter the village, you'll come across the Agha Seyed Shrine, a place of great spiritual and community importance for the locals. This shrine honors the Imamzada, who was laid to rest in the village. It's a peaceful spot where both villagers and visitors come to pray and reflect. The shrine is more than just a religious site. It's a hub of peace and comfort for everyone who visits. It's also central to the social and cultural life in Sar Agha Seyed. The shrine hosts many community events, especially during religious festivals and important dates. The people of Sar Agha Seyed are deeply committed to their religious practices. Major events, like Ramadan and the mourning days of Muharram, are celebrated with great reverence at the shrine. It also draws visitors and pilgrims from other regions, especially during these significant religious times. This flow of visitors helps connect the village with the broader world and fosters cultural exchange. As more people learn about this charming village, more tourists are becoming interested. They are attracted by the village's unique buildings, breathtaking landscapes, and rich cultural history. The residents of Sar Agha Seyed, known for their warm hospitality, have embraced the growing number of visitors enthusiastically. They see tourism as a chance to share their way of life, traditions, and stories with others. When visitors arrive, they are often greeted with friendly smiles and invited to experience everyday life in the village. They can watch traditional rug weaving or join in local festivals and celebrations. This interaction has been beneficial for the village's economy. Many locals have found new ways to earn money through tourism, like starting small guest houses, providing guided tours, or selling handmade crafts and local produce. This economic boost has been crucial for the village, helping it to support itself and maintain its traditions. Although there aren't many places to stay in Sar Agha Seyed due to its pure nature, the rising number of tourists, both from within the country and abroad, has led to the creation of rental homes and eco-friendly lodgings. Tourists visiting this village can stay overnight in the homes of residents, who will charge for the accommodation. During the warmer months, visitors have the option to stay in tents set up by the villagers on the mountaintop. If preferred, tourists can bring their camping gear and set up camp close to the village. Alternatively, visitors might choose to stay in hotels in nearby cities and make day trips to the village. The best time to visit Sar Agha Seyed village is during the spring and summer. Spring begins in April and brings cool, pleasant weather. Although it can get a bit chilly in the evenings, this season is especially beautiful as the snow melts and nature comes alive. Spring is also a great time to see the Bakhtiari nomads migrate to the village, offering a unique cultural experience. The landscape becomes lush and green, perfect for nature lovers and photographers. As summer arrives, the beauty of Sar Agha Seyed and its surrounding fields grows even more striking. The presence of the Bakhtiari nomads' tents adds to the cultural richness of the area. Enjoying the breathtaking scenery from a high vantage point is particularly rewarding during this season. Both spring and summer offer a wonderful mix of pleasant weather, cultural experiences, and stunning natural beauty, making them the ideal times to explore and enjoy all that Sar Agha Seyed village has to offer. One big issue in the village is littering. Even though there are garbage bins, trash is still a problem. This might be because there aren't enough waste management facilities or because people aren't very aware of environmental concerns. The village also faces challenges with its infrastructure. Most houses are tiny, one-room spaces without windows, which means there isn't much privacy or comfort. People don't have private toilets, Instead, they use a shared toilet near the mosque or go to natural areas. This lack of proper sanitation affects their daily lives. Another serious issue is the absence of a hospital. In emergencies, like childbirth, the only option is to use a helicopter to reach a hospital that's about 3 hours away. This highlights how isolated the village is and how hard it can be to access basic services. Despite these challenges, Sar Agha Seyed is a place where the people's strength and resilience shine through. Life here mixes traditional practices with a strong sense of community and the difficulties that come with its remote location. Now, let's look at life in some other fascinating villages in the mountainous Kurdistan province of Iran. Cultural landscape of Uramanat. Uramanat is a region in the western part of Kurdistan province in Iran. It is bordered by Iraq to the west and Kermanshah province to the south. A 75-kilometer road connects it to Marivan. This area lies between Iran and Iraq and features a winding plain with beautiful and varied rivers, making it quite scenic. The houses in the city are mainly made of stone and are built in a stepped, terraced style. Because of this unique design, Uramanat is often called the Village of 1,000 Masaleh, referencing another region with a similar building style. Uramanat is divided into two parts: a smaller section associated with the city of Halabja in Iraq, and a larger section that is part of Kermanshah and Kurdistan provinces in Iran. Historically, this village is made up of 3 areas: Horiman Takht, Jawro, and Lehun. The name Uramanat is also known locally as Horiman. In the local language, it is called Hi-Varaman. The name Uramanat, or Horiman Takht, can be broken down into 2 parts: Hora and Man. Some people think Hora might be related to Ahura, meaning Ahuraman, meaning the house of Ahura Mazda. Alternatively, if Hora comes from an ancient term for the sun and Man means house, then it could be understood as the house of the sun. Kalain is a special and tasty local bread made by the women of Sananji. It's unique because it includes onions and is cooked with milk. When you add butter or oil, its flavor becomes even more delightful. The tomb of Pir Shalyar is a cherished and sacred site in the village of Uramanat Takht, also known as Horiman. It's a stone structure topped with a small green dome, perfectly blending with the natural surroundings and creating a serene and spiritual feeling. Locals in Uramanat speak highly of Pir Shalyar, describing him as a noble, kind-hearted individual with great respect and dignity. He lived much of his life as a dervish, dedicating himself to worship and residing in a cave. Visitors often notice the clothes tied to the trees around Pir Shalyar's tomb. There is a belief that if a piece of cloth, which was once worn by a sick person, is tied in this sacred area, it can help alleviate their pain and illness. Pir Shalyar's childhood is a story filled with wonder. He was a unique person with extraordinary gifts. After his parents died, he had to move in with his uncle. His uncle's wife was not kind and made Pir Shalyar work hard, sending him to the desert to gather firewood and take care of sheep. But Pir Shalyar had a special way of handling things. Instead of struggling, he would sit quietly in a corner and play his reed pipes. The wind would then magically collect firewood for him, and the earth would produce the best grass for his sheep to eat. In the village of Uramanat, there is a grand and ancient tradition called the Kumsai ceremony. This special event happens twice a year and lasts for 3 days. It begins with sacrifices and offerings made by the people to honor Pir Shalyar. During the ceremony, dervishes and villagers dress in traditional Uramanat clothes and circle Pir Shalyar's tomb. They play tambourines, recite religious chants, read poems, dance, and listen to the mystical sounds of the dervishes. Historical records suggest that people have lived near the villages of Nav, Hajij, and Spritz for around 40,000 years. It's fascinating to learn that researchers have uncovered documents around the village of Rohr. Among these findings is a large stone grave with a dome-shaped roof and several houses. This evidence shows that people lived in this area during the Iron Age, with their history dating back over 3,000 years. These discoveries are considered some of the most significant historical artifacts from this region, and their architecture links to the western part of the Zagros Mountains. One notable find is an inscription featuring images of the Assyrian ruler Sargon II. along with a cuneiform text. After experts translated it, they found it detailed Sargon II's military campaigns against the Uramanat and Zagros regions. Archaeologists also discovered animal skins in the village, which they believe are from the Parthian and Seleucid periods, inscribed with Pahlavi and Greek writing. These historical artifacts were originally housed in a container given to the British by a person named Dr. Saeed Kurdistani. The British then kept these precious items in their museum. The name Hajij in Kurdish means green and deep valley, a fitting name for this beautiful village. Everything in Hajij, from the architecture to the homes, exudes a sense of peace and closeness. The village is known for its unique architectural style, where the roof of one house serves as the yard for the neighboring house, highlighting the strong community bonds among its residents. Though the stone houses are modest in size, they reflect the warmth and generosity of their inhabitants. Covering 53 hectares, Hajij is celebrated as one of the most beautiful and cleanest villages in the Uramanat region. There are many tales about how Hajij village came to be. One popular story is that a member of the Athar Imams, who fled the harsh rule of the Abbasid caliphs, arrived in this area and started Hajij. In a place where every corner is like a scene from a dream, Hajij is just that kind of place. It's filled with stunning landscapes and beautiful sights, making it perfect for taking photos and creating lasting memories. Hajij boasts a fantastic mix of attractions, including historical sites, natural beauty, religious landmarks, water features, and traditional crafts. The people who live here are warm and welcoming Kurds who speak the Harami dialect. They lead a self-sufficient life, thanks to the lush pastures around them. They raise livestock and poultry, producing a range of dairy products like curd, milk, buttermilk, animal oil, and butter. Gardening is another key activity in Hajij. The villagers grow fruits such as walnuts, pomegranates, and grapes. They even carve out spaces in the mountain rocks to plant potatoes, summer vegetables, and trees by filling them with soil and fertilizer. Hajij's craftsmanship extends beyond farming. In the past, people were known for their skills in chokarain and mars bafi, traditional crafts of the region. Today, some residents continue to create beautiful handmade items, including rugs, jajims, a type of blanket, shawls, gaiv, traditional Kurdish shoes, handkerchiefs, and baskets, all of which reflect the rich local culture and traditions. Hajij village has many interesting stories about how it was formed. Some say that a member of the Athar Imam's family came to this area after fighting against the oppressive Abbasid caliphs and established Hajij. The village is like a dream come true for capturing beautiful memories. Hajij is filled with stunning landscapes and attractive scenes that make it perfect for photography and creating lasting memories. Hajij offers a wide range of attractions, including historical sites, natural beauty, religious landmarks, water features, and traditional crafts. The people who live there are friendly and welcoming Kurds who speak the Harami dialect. They are self-sufficient and live off their lush pastures, raising animals and poultry. Hajij is known for its dairy products like curd, milk, buttermilk, animal oil, and butter. The villagers also grow fruits such as walnuts, pomegranates, and grapes. They have a unique way of farming. Sometimes they carve out spaces in mountain rocks, fill them with soil and fertilizer, and grow potatoes, summer plants, and even trees there. The crafts and skills of Hajij's people go beyond just farming. In the past, they were known for chokarain, traditional weaving, and mars bafi, a type of embroidery. Today, they continue to create beautiful handmade items like rugs, jajims, traditional textiles, shawls, handkerchiefs, baskets, and colorful local clothing. One of their specialties is the kelash, a traditional Kurdish shoe known for its distinctive style. Moving further, we explore a small village that has attracted attention for its unusual buildings and its nickname. The isolated dwarf village, Makunik. Khorasan, a historic region in northeastern Iran near the Afghan border, is known as one of the places where ancient civilizations began. In its southern part lies Makunik, a small village that seems to have come straight out of a fairy tale. Some believe this village is thousands of years old. Makunik has attracted attention for its unusual buildings and its nickname, the Dwarf Village. This name comes from archaeological finds, local stories, and the village's unique buildings, which have led many to guess that its former residents were very short. According to these stories, the villagers were quite short, and their tiny homes seem to be made just for them. The houses are so small that most adults have to bend over or crawl inside. The doors are only about 5 feet high, and the ceilings are around 6 feet high. Built into the hillside, these tiny homes blend into the natural landscape, making the village hard to see from a distance. Makunik is surrounded by grassy mountains, making it a hidden spot where people could live for centuries without being noticed. The roofs, made of wooden beams covered in dirt, provided extra warmth and space for storage or sleeping. The village's layout reflects a communal lifestyle, with homes built close together and often sharing walls. Although no one knows the exact age of Makunik, it is believed to have existed for centuries, possibly since before the rise of Islam. The village's architecture led to comparisons with the Lilliput city from Jonathan Swift's novel Gulliver's Travels. In 2005, the discovery of a tiny mummified body, about 10 inches long, renewed interest in the idea of a dwarf village. Though experts later identified the mummy as a premature baby who died around 400 years ago, they confirmed that the people of Makunik were indeed shorter than average. This smaller stature was likely due to a combination of poor nutrition, harsh living conditions, and limited genetic variety due to the village's isolation. The villagers' diet consisted mainly of turnips, grains, barley, and a fruit called jujube, which lacked essential vitamins and minerals, contributing to their shorter height. Furthermore, isolation meant limited marriage options and a reduction in genetic variety, which could also explain their smaller stature. Contaminants in the local water might have further affected their growth. In the mid-20th century, improved transportation brought new ingredients like rice and chicken, leading most of Makunik's 700 residents to grow to average height. Still, the old dwarf houses remain a fascinating draw for visitors. The original small size of these homes was not just about accommodating smaller people, but also about practicality. With few domestic animals to transport materials, smaller houses required fewer resources and were easier to build. The homes, made of stone and clay, come in various shapes and sizes. Many have curved circular walls, while some rooms are rectangular or triangular. These compact designs made the houses easier to heat in winter and cool in summer. Over time, Makunik has changed, with newer buildings being more standard in size. Yet, the old homes continue to attract visitors, offering a glimpse into a unique way of life adapted to a challenging environment. Inside these homes, the floor is about 3 feet below ground level to use the Earth's natural insulation. The small living space usually included a family and a small area for entertaining guests. The furnishings were minimal but practical, with hand-woven rugs and storage built into the walls. Makunik's isolation has helped preserve its unique architecture and culture. Interestingly, the villagers had a notable dislike for tea, a staple of Iranian culture, jokingly calling anyone who drank it an addict. The residents, both Sunni and Shiite Muslims, live peacefully, relying on livestock, farming, and local mines for their livelihood. Women weave carpets and collect water from springs. Recently, modern amenities like paved roads, water, and electricity have been introduced, transforming the village. Makunik now welcomes around 8,000 domestic and a few hundred foreign tourists annually. If you plan to visit, spring is the best time, as summers are hot and winters are very cold. Makunik's enduring architecture reflects a deep understanding of its environment and a commitment to sustainable living. Beyond the dwarf legends, the village's true magic lies in its ability to adapt and thrive in a harsh landscape, showcasing human resilience and creativity. What are your thoughts on the astounding life in an isolated mountain village in Iran, Sar Agha Seyed? Let us know your answer in the comments section.